fundamentals. Lexi, last week we did the correlation between the Aussie and the Chinese renminbi. What do you got for us this week?
Well, I think the major, I think very similar to Julian, we still are looking at the whole, are we going to increase interest rates? Are we not going to increase?
Lexi, you're very faint.
What this? Testing. All right. I think this should be better. Yeah. Okay. So I think we are still looking at interest rates and whether or not it will be due to heat up. So there is still news on it. And again, the talk is again, will the US increase its interest rates and when? And if you're looking at inflation rates being higher, and there's a commitment to achieving a more inclusive labor market. And on the bond market, we also have seen the government bonds whipsawing in tandem with changes in expectation about the Fed's timing. So the Treasury yields, and traditionally Treasury yields they rise as prices fall. They've actually shot higher since the start of the year as investors are coming to grips with the potential strength of the economic rebound, and of course the subsequent implications for the central bank. So a bit of focus on the interest rates. It's pretty curious. And if we do a quick look at where the unemployment rates, I think about 2 weeks back, I spoke about the unemployment rates and the correlation of which is the area where unemployment goes, and then interest rates might pop up. So we are again 6%. The latest stat was 6%. So I am thinking that the moment the unemployment rate dips to below 5.8, I think the interest rate hike might come nearer. So I think a lot of eyes will be actually on the unemployment rates to see whether it does match up the interest rates expectation or not. On the other side of things, last week we looked at the CNY, the renminbi, and the Aussie dollar, and the correlation. So it really is interesting in a little bit of a way. You see this article over here. This was posted on the April 9th. So this should be interesting to see where it's coming up, because as the dollar recedes, the market is still very bullish on the Chinese economy, and of course the Aussie sensitive, the Aussie dollar is pretty sensitive to the renminbi movement. And China is the first major economy to have kind of fully recouped the lost output from the pandemic slump. And the annual growth is actually exploding higher in the first quarter due to last year's low base rate effect. So basically, due to the first quarter COVID, right? They do a comparison on statistics, and it does seem that there's an explosion of numbers, but also this distortion actually pushed China's growth rate to double digits for the first time in a decade. So it's actually a maths issue where, because of COVID last year, the first quarter, they compare it to this quarter. Of course, they will look at that explosive recovery. But the market sentiment is what I want to focus on. And the market sentiment is likely to receive quite a notable boost because China's growth indicators are still strong. And if the actual numbers match up with the actual strength, then this would be a very good news for China-sensitive Aussie dollar. So in short, what I am looking forward to is the potential Aussie strength coming back into the market. And if we look at the comparison on I think just the CNY, this is the renminbi against the USD. This is on the daily time frame. What I'm pretty much curious about is when it will happen. So I'm wondering whether or not next week will give us our first higher low over here, right? So if price doesn't manage to break below this area, then I am expecting Aussie bullishness because of the correlation of the Aussie dollar and the Chinese yuan. And you can see there is, if we go down to the 4-hour time frame just to see the statistics, see the momentum, I would say. You can see on the 4-hour time frame, we already have that first higher low over there, and candles look like a potential reversal in that sense. So when we compare the two charts side by side, what interests me is there is a slowdown in the drop of the CNY, the renminbi against the USD, and I'm wondering whether or not in terms of the Aussie dollar, will we see a similar halt or pause in the market as the markets try to figure out where to go next? And if all things stay true to the correlated Aussie versus the renminbi, then I'm looking at a potential long opportunity over here. So I think my eyes are on Monday and Tuesday to see what the RMB does on the Monday and Tuesday, and whether or not we could take advantage of this as a hint to the Aussie dollar finding a support level on this level. So let me just erase this, and let me use a Aussie dollar pair instead. It might be a little bit neater. So the Aussie dollar, you can see the consolidation happening over here. And if you just look at the chart pattern, you can see a very similar consolidation, very similar consolidation happening. So really interested to see whether or not if China can get this motion, whether or not we can get the same in the Aussie, and allow whether Aussie actually allows China to pull it back up. Yeah, so my focus is still on the Aussie dollar next week, and I'm looking for opportunities to long the Aussie based on China's recovery. That's all I have for this week.
Cheers, Lexi. Thank you very much for that.